Welcome back. In this episode, I'll answer your question, how to invest in real estate tax liens. My name is Ted Thomas. I've been involved in tax liens, tax lien certificates, and tax defaulted properties for over 30 years. I got in the business as an investor, and then people asked me a lot of questions. That led to me guiding people, teaching people, and become a coach. Next thing you know, I'm in the business of teaching people how to do tax liens and tax deeds. So this episode, I'm going to answer your question, how to invest in real estate tax liens. Now, folks, there's going to be plenty of them. I mean, there's going to be thousands of these. So you're going to learn a lot on this video, and I'm going to share this information that will make it easy and very low risk and very rewarding for you. So this is a video you want to pay close attention to, because when you finish, you'll be able to buy tax liens and tax deeds. Now, how do we get tax liens and tax deeds? That means someone defaulted on their property tax. So the local counties collect property tax. It's usually about 1 or 2%. They need that money to run the government. I'll come back and tell you about that in a few minutes. But right now, tax lien certificates are in the very low population counties. There's going to be hundreds. In the large population counties, there's going to be hundreds of thousands of these. I mean, not unusual to see 20 and 30,000 tax lien certificates. So every property is taxable with the exception of the churches. They're all taxable. Taxes are generally 1 or 2%. Now, when I finish this video, I've got a free gift for you. So you want to stay tuned for that. And at the end of this video, I'll tell you about 2 mistakes that tax defaulted property owners make and tax lien investors make. So I'll tell you those at the end. So right now, I'll be right back. Okay, so in the United States, real estate is taxable. Now, every property is taxable. Now, how do you end up paying property tax? Well, first of all, it's a very small tax, but the state makes the rules. In other words, the legislature, the lawmakers, they make the rules, and then they pass the rules down, and they mandate the county do certain things. So basically, the treasurer or the county officials are required to levy taxes, collect taxes, and if they can't collect the taxes, they either confiscate the property, that is, they evict the people and take the property, or in the very benevolent states, what they do is they issue a tax lien certificate. All right, now how would you know about tax lien certificates? Well, you know because they're published in the newspaper. We'll show you pictures of that in just a minute. So you'll see that all the tax lien certificates are published there, and on top of that, they're also on the county website. So there'll be thousands of these certificates. Anybody can buy them. Sometimes they're $50, $500, $50,000. So any investor can buy the certificate, and when you buy that certificate, you are paying someone else's taxes. Now, the local counties want to get money in. So what they do is they sell these tax certificates, and they reward the people that buy them. So if I buy one and you buy one, you're buying it directly from the county. So let's make sure you understand this. You invest directly with the county, you're going to get your check back from the county. You're not going to get a check from Ted Thomas. I'm an educator. I'll teach you how to do it. All right, now what's going to happen here is the people didn't pay the tax, so they'll get many notices letting them know the consequences, that they're either going to lose the property to confiscation or a tax certificate will be published. Now, when that certificate's published, they put it on a big list, and I'm going to show you that list in just a couple of seconds. So you'll see the big list. There's thousands and thousands of certificates on here. All you do is you buy whatever certificate you want to buy. And when you do that, you're going to earn an outrageous interest rate. Now, some interest rates in some states could be like 16% in Arizona. Florida could be 18%. Iowa could be 24%. You're getting the idea. So the states decide, the legislature decides what that particular rate is going to be. All right, now there's going to be thousands of these properties in default. Now I'm going to move up closer to my camera, and I'm going to show you what a tax auction list looks like. Okay, well, that's Tampa Bay, folks. Now that's the newspaper from over there. Now if I take that newspaper and show you, I'm going to take it off the screen for a second. I'm just going to move it around a little bit. You can see it's got quite a bunch of sections to it. And this particular one, let me get it opened up. There's 28,000 certificates in it, and there's 72 pages. Let me get it on there. 72 pages of tax lien certificate just in that one county. So in the United States, they have 3,000 counties. In that particular county, they have over 28,000. I've seen that county with 40 and 50,000 tax lien certificates. They're all for sale. Anybody can buy them. So now you understand it's really a business of abundance. So what I'm sharing with you can be quite lucrative, because if you can buy these certificates and get interest rates that are 16, 18, and 24%, you have a chance to make yourself a lot of money. Now, these certificates can be bid on, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a minute. All right, now, I don't make the rules. So all the rules come from the same place. The state government, the legislature, decides what the rules are. They then mandate it for the county to do that. So the county has to levy the tax, collect the tax, and if they can't collect it, they have to issue a tax lien certificate. That's what we're talking about today, how to invest in real estate tax lien certificates. All right, so that's what we're really talking about. Tax liens, then it becomes a certificate when they're in the process of selling it. As I say, there's thousands of them. Now, half of the states sell tax liens. The other half of the states are going to sell tax deeds. Now, they're both available. They're both a chance for you to make money. And if a property owner has failed to pay their tax, well, guess what? This is your chance to make some money with tax liens and tax deeds. So right now, we'll just talk about how to invest in these tax lien certificates. All right, now why is the county selling these? That's a big question for people. The county is selling the certificates because they need money to run the government. Now, the taxes are generally 1 or 2%. Now, there are some states where the taxes are quite high, like New York and New Jersey, California, and so on. But my point is, they're selling the tax certificate because they need money. Now, what do they need money for? Well, they have to pay the police department. They have to pay the sheriff's department. They have to pay for the firefighters. They even send some money over to the hospital for the people that can't pay their hospital bills. They have a lot of bills to pay. They pay for the court system. They fix the roads. And think about the schools. They have to build them, and they have to pay the school teachers. You're getting the idea. The county has a lot of bills to pay. So if the property owners don't pay in default, they're going to do something about that. In half of the states, they sell a tax lien certificate. The other half of the states, the county is actually going to seize the property. They're going to take it away from that property owner, and then they're going to resell it at auction. And when they resell it at auction, they're going to sell it. Starting bid is going to be the back taxes. But now today, we're talking about tax lien certificates and how to make money. All right, so the tax lien certificates are available in half of the counties in the United States. The rates are absolutely outrageous. 18%, 16%, 24%, 36%. Huge rates of return on tax lien certificates. All right, yes, it is a competitive business. Everybody wants to make those rates of return. All right, so they're always sold at the county level. It's always going to be a public auction. It'll either be online or offline. How would you know about it? Be very easy, because it's going to be in the newspaper like I just showed you, or it's going to be on the county website, but it's probably going to be in both of those places. Not unusual for that to happen. Now, these sales are going on. There'll be 5,000 auctions this year. Every single year, they're going to have those auctions. It's rare that they could sell all the certificates. Now, what would you do if you wanted to buy one? Very easy. You look at the newspaper like I showed you. You'd find a property number. All right, the number is there in the newspaper and the amount. Now, you can take that number and go to the county website, and when you put the number in, it'll show you or tell you where the property is, give you an address. You can go look at it, or you can use the GIS mapping system, or you can use Zillow. You can do whatever you want to find out what the value of the property is. Now, big mistake. Don't buy a property unless you've looked at it. Don't just buy tax liens and say, oh, they all pay off. Because 97% of all the certificates that people raised their hand and bought will pay off. So that means you got an investment where you're going to 97% are going to pay you, a few percent you're not going to get paid. Now you're saying, wait a minute, I don't want to do anything I'm not going to get paid. Well, of course you don't. So the county already figured that out. The county figured out that if you don't get paid, you're going to get the property. So the county basically makes you a promise. They say, you buy the tax certificate, we'll see to it you get a high rate. If the people default and don't pay the high rate, we'll see to it that you get the property. That means you get the property for whatever you paid on the tax certificate, and there's no mortgage. The mortgage has been X'd out. It's been wiped out. Now, I don't wipe out the mortgage. The county does that. All right, the county treasurer is authorized. The county treasurer has power, and they can wipe the mortgage right off the property records. So now you're going to get a property that has no mortgage on it, and you just paid the back taxes to get it. All right, so every property is going to be on a list. Now, what kind of list is that? It's a tax defaulted property list. All right, you don't want to go buy any property unless you've seen it. This is a tax property. Always check the property. It happens to people all the time. All right, now tax certificates are available throughout the year. Different counties have different auctions at different times, okay? I never know when all the auctions are going to be, but you can easily find out by looking on the county websites, and you can look in the newspaper in your community. They'll actually put a list like I've already showed you earlier today. They'll put a list just like that. Now, depending upon which county you purchase in is going to depend upon the rate that you get. For example, in Florida, the certificates pay 18%. In Arizona, certificates pay up to 16%. In Iowa, they pay up to 24%. I'm sure you're getting the idea. So you can travel and do this if you want, or you can do it all online. Now, when I started back in the days when I had black hair, well, I can tell you we had to travel to every auction. Now you can sit right where you are watching me right now, unless you're on a mobile, but you can do it online. You can do the whole business. All right, now, let's talk about what the county's going to do here. The county is going to put them up for auction. Anybody can bid. You can look at every property before you bid. When you bid, you're bidding on the interest rate, so keep that in the back of your mind. All right, the certificates are available to anybody that wants to buy. The auction is not a regular auction, it's a reverse auction. So here in Florida, it reverses. In other words, it starts at 18% and then it goes down. So that's a reverse auction. Now, I have other videos within this channel that will tell you more about tax liens and deeds, but they'll also tell you about the different auction bidding process. All right, so not all properties are a good investment. This, for some reason, everyone thinks the word auction means it's going to be a bargain. Well, I can tell you, some of those properties are junk and you don't want them. So the savvy investor always does the same thing. They get the property number, then they go and check out the property. They don't buy anything that they haven't seen. Now, is location going to be important? Here's how important location is. Location is the most important thing. Why? Because you can't change the location. You certainly could change the property. If it burned down, you could build another one. But you can't, you wouldn't want a brand new house in an old neighborhood that wasn't good. So you always want to know where you're buying these properties. You can't give money to Ted Thomas. You're going to have to give your money directly to the government. When you do that, they're going to keep your money. So that means that you need to do your homework and pay attention before you go. Now, what's happening to the property owner? The property owner has been giving many notices. They've been given notice that the property is going to go to auction if they don't do something. So in the United States, everyone is free to buy property. However, there's one rule, and the rule is you must pay taxes. If you don't pay taxes, then your property will be forfeited to the government. If you don't pay taxes, the property is forfeited to the government. Now, I don't create the laws. The legislature in each state does that, all right? However, when they do that, they pass the word down to the county, and the county levies the tax, collects the tax, and if they can't collect the tax, they'll either issue a tax lien or they'll confiscate the property. And they do confiscate those properties on a regular basis. All right, now there's a ton of auctions each year. There's going to be at least 5,000 of those, and they follow a sequence. So if you get the newspaper like I showed you, whatever number starts as number one in the newspaper, they will just auction and follow that sequence the whole time. All right, now these are videos that you can go to that I recommend. If you liked what you heard today and you want to know more, you can go to either one of these videos. Now, as I button it up, I'm going to take two other questions before I finish. Are tax certificates transferable? And the answer is yes. Yes, you could have a tax certificate you bought in your name, and you could transfer it to a child or a spouse or whoever you want. What happens to a tax certificate if you buy it? Well, if you bought a tax certificate at a live auction, which they all used to be live, yes, you would actually get a tax certificate. You'd get one, and we'll put a picture up one so you can see what it looks like. So you would actually get the certificate. Now most people are doing it online, so you get a notice that you bought a tax certificate, and as a matter of fact, when it comes time to pay you, they'll put the money directly into your bank account. So that's pretty darn good. All right, so I'm finishing up now, and here's what I want to make sure. I always promise people I'll tell you about two mistakes people make at the auction. First mistake they make at the auction is this. They don't look at the property. So if you haven't had eyes and boots on the ground and you haven't seen that property, or you don't have somebody you know looking at that property, I'm going to tell you not to buy it. What if it burned down? What if there was a hurricane? What if there was a fire? What if there was a windstorm? I mean, any kind of crisis could happen to that property. And then you'll be buying that burned out Hulk. You really don't want to do that. The other big mistake people make is they get to the auction and they get too excited. And they get excited and they get into that bidding stuff and they start bidding and they're bidding to win. You don't need a bid to win. I mean, anybody can bid high and win. You bid so you get to your objective of getting a property cheap. All right, now you don't want to bid on a property until you know what you can sell it for. All right, now that's called an exit strategy. If you don't have an exit strategy, don't bid on the property. All right, well, thanks for watching. Below me is a free gift for all of you that stayed with me. I hope you learned a lot today. I'll be back on the next video.